Tomb of Annihilation.
Something is devouring souls across the multiverse. Those who have been brought back from the dead are now withering away, and even those who have never received the blessing before cannot be raised. With most of the world's adventurer population now withering away, a group of fledgling adventurers are recruited to find the source of this catastrophe. The adventurers are approached at the funeral of their mutual friend. They are told that to uncover the death curse's origin, they must brave a lich's tower in a forest known as the Cloakwood. There, they delved into the basement of the lich, while their benefactors raided the lich's lair topside to create a distraction. While inside, they obtained the lich's phylactery and used it to force the lich to cooperate and tell them what she knew of the curse. The lich knew this magic was similar to the magic of phylacteries and pointed the way to Cholk, a jungle peninsula. With the heading and the fate of the multiverse in their hands, the fledgling adventurers are booked a boat and headed off across the sea to a jungle filled with dinosaurs, undead, pirates, and more. Adventure awaits.
And we're on. Welcome back!
Alright, so, most recently we have just completed the Cellar of Death introduction module.
We almost died.
Yeah.
Yep, most of you almost died.
It was terrifying.
Through the information provided by the Lich, the Harpers and your party have learned that all souls are being strongly compelled towards the jungle peninsula of Chult. At the Temple of Lathander in Baldur's Gate, the High Priest and several other powerful patrons of the city have organized to Chult to investigate this lead. You have been recruited for this expedition, both for your expertise and due to the fact that some of you have pre-existing contacts and connections to the peninsula. The other half of your party know next to nothing about Chult as you embark on this mission. But you do know that if you survive, you should find enough riches to make you wealthier than a Waterdavian noble, and you know the name of your contact in Chult, Sindra Sylvain, a former adventurer and member of the enigmatic Harpers. Today marks the 20th day of the Death Curse,
Oof.
according to the divine healers studying the disease. And on this day, the fellow members of the expedition and the crew of the Nimble Nymph have been at sea for over a 10-day. So you are now at sea. You have been here for 10 days currently. And on the 10th day, on this hot morning, you hear one of the Nimble Nymph's crew call out, "Land ho!" But only a moment later, another crewman calls out, "Sails to port." You were just coming out to the rail, to see the distant cliffs and jungles of Chult. But now as you raise a hand to your face and squint past the rising sun to see you see the tiny sails of another ship.
Oh.
Captain Brisbane, a middle-aged and highly capable woman, begins barking orders to the crew. When she sees the members of the expedition trying to stay out of the way, but curiously observing, she tells your party, pirates frequently hunt the waters north of the Bay of Chult. The shipping lanes in and out of the port have ships either coming from the Sword Coast packed with finished goods, like arms and armor that are sold at a premium in Chult, or coming from the port laden with exotic exports. Prime for pirates to take. Alright. So bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to queue up something real quick. Alright. There you go. As Captain Brisbane begins barking orders to her crew members in preparation for the pirates. What does your party do?
I'm gonna ask her how I could help.
I'll ask her as well.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's fight pirates.
She tells you, I have a plan in motion, and I hope to be able to avoid the fight entirely. If that is unsuccessful, I would like your aid in fighting them off the decks. Pirate ships are typically faster than ours.
Alright.
We'll see if
Sounds
we
good
can't
to me.
outrun them and make it into the Bay of Chult.
So you guys getting like deja vu, but like opposite?
Alright, so,
What?
Nothing.
you've learned today that a sailing chase is not a quick affair. It's nearly midday now, and the Nimble Nymph is now pulling into the Bay of Chult. The pursuing pirate vessel is much closer now, but still nearly half a mile away.
Are you still pursuing?
They are still pursuing. It's been over 6 hours since this chase started. As you pull into the mouth of the bay, you watch Captain Brisbane pull a heavy leather sack out of a lockbox on the stern castle deck. It appears heavy with coins. Your curious stares prompt her to smile and answer, this is a bribe. Or tribute, really. An ear-splitting, inhuman growl seems to vibrate up through the water and into the planks of the ship. When the growl ends, Captain Brisbane shakes her head and says, and here he is. Then she promptly walks over to the rail and throws the heavy leather bag filled with coins overboard.
Can I hang over the rail? Paula's going to hang over the rail just a little bit and be like, I've heard stories but never seen it.
The rest of you realize that that bag probably contained more money than you've seen at one time in your entire life.
Yeah.
But Captain Brisbane seems nonplussed about this action. She returns to the helmsman and gives him an order to adjust course slightly, and then yells out an order to trim the mainsail as well.
I'm gonna call back. Was that who I thought it was?
The captain of the ship winks at you. As the Nimble Nymph continues to sail, another otherworldly growl is heard, but this one is not as loud and appears to come from the aft of the ship.
I guess it's better than seeing.
A crewman in the crow's nest that has been calling out distance measurements for the past hour yells down, 300 yards. The pirate vessel is barely within ballista range now. The captain of the ship approaching you seems fond of chopping off the heads of those who displease him and dangling them from his ship's mermaid figurehead.
Oh.
Well, then.
But just as you begin to worry, glancing ahead of the Nimble Nymph and seeing several more hours of travel ahead of you before you reach the port, then you look back at the closing pirate vessel, there is suddenly a much louder and scarier petrifying growl. As you watch from the stern castle rail, a huge shape crashes up out of the water near the pirate ship. Vast
Classic
waves
jump up and down.
ripple as the huge island-like rock surfaces, and a spray of water and mist are thrown hundreds of feet into the air.
That's
Oh,
no
they
island.
disrespected him.
And then, the rock opens its gigantic maw, and you realize that you are looking into the mouth of a huge creature.
Oh god.
The creature appears almost like an immense island-sized turtle. It appears angry and viciously scary. Moving faster than something so large should be capable of, its head darts out from its jagged shell, and its curled and sharp beak, punctuated by teeth that are longer than a man is tall, snaps at the pirate vessel's main mast. The creature's left eye is milky blind, and a piece of its shell is missing. In less than 10 seconds, the creature has entirely overcome this massive ship.
I'm gonna... Paula's just going to chuckle, eyes wide, and say, man, I've seen so many things in my life, but nothing as satisfying as pirates getting got for not giving money. Oh, it's so big.
Polly, why are you like this?
Like what?
That is the monster.
that
Eating dragon people.
just saved us.
That is a monster eating people.
But it just saved
That
us.
is a dragon turtle.
All right.
Monster.
Those people
Eating
would have.
people.
Those people would have eaten you.
I'm gonna look at Sopa and be like,
Pirates eat
are you related?
people? That's news to me.
Can I give you
Not in
interesting
so
look?
many
No, I don't know.
words.
Are you related to your
But
breakfast?
it's the same.
I would have been like
Oh, so
close,
the
but not that
concept,
close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a kind of annoying smile and then look away.
It's about the prince.
All right. The pirate vessel is too badly damaged to continue. You can see now that the crew is rapidly throwing crates, barrels, and whatever else they can overboard to the giant creature as tribute. Captain Brisbane smiles wanly. A tribute. To those of you who are unaware of the creature, Brisbane explains that, my friends, as one of your friends mentioned, is a dragon turtle. An extremely old and angry dragon turtle named Aramog. Aramog patrols the Bay of Chultan to beg tribute from the ships that come through the mouth of the bay. It is a known cost of doing business. Those pirates were hoping that Aramog just wasn't here today, I guess. A costly gamble. The old dragon turtle has been demanding tribute in this bay for as long as anyone, even elves, can remember. Yet despite the centuries of making home in this area, no one's ever found Aramog's lair. After a few seconds, Aramog seems pleased with the tribute and sinks back into the ocean after he gobbles up all of the tributes, leaving crashing waves washing over both ships. The pirate vessel no longer continues its pursuit and flounders in the water for a moment before they turn and head back.
Sea Wave, they knew what they were doing and what they were risking. They should have not risked it.
I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna tilt my head, but my ears flick and go, but that doesn't change the fact that you were smiling at a monster eating people.
I was just excited to see Aramog for the first time. I was not particularly happy that they had to die in order for us to survive. But it was nice to see him in action.
You said. You said there's nothing you like more than seeing pirates.
They were pirates. They were going to hurt us if they were not hurt first by Aramog.
Yes.
Alright.
think she
I
just got,
wouldn't clap if something happened to us.
I think she just got a little overexcited about seeing Aramon.
Still. Squint.
Yes, indeed, still. Still a bit of an uncool thing to say, regardless. But understandable.
Never said I was cool, man.
Totally saying you're cool. You think you're so cool.
I mean, I did shoot that ghast and kill it.
You're so cool.
It was
I
super
stabbed
cool.
it. Does that make me cool?
Did you kill it?
Did
Then
you?
only slightly. Yes, I did.
Was it really dead?
Yeah.
Was it not?
Are you sure?
It was dead the second time. Was it not dead? Did that thing come back to life?
Now I'm getting now you're confusing all of us.
Alright.
We're getting off
I
topic.
mean, if it can bring it back once, why can't the lich bring it back again?
That doesn't mean that it was brought back immediately. I still got a killing blow. It died for at least a minute.
I mean,
So go ahead and play this as we
every-
pull into the port.
everything that a lich killed was, or everything that was brought back was killed at some point.
You will likely have to restart the that music.
Oh, Nyanzaru. It's been too long.
Alright.
Not that I spent much time in cities anyway, but it is nice. Once in a while.
I thought you
The
did.
smells, the sights, the
Ancient
sounds.
I am...
It's
Oh,
all a lot
you
worse
are
than
right.
I remember.
well, that is correct. Ancient cities.
You pull into the dock of Port Nyanzaru, entering here.
Yeah, boy.
As you do, your group is approached by a gold half-dragon who is writing on what appears to be some sort of log.
Log?
Yep, as in a log for ships.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said writing a log.
I
for
thought
a
you said
second.
writing
I
on.
thought-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I was like, floating on a log. Alright.
He's just writing a This will go down great.
Oh. He's really cool looking.
As he approaches,
Stop it.
he states, I am the dockmaster. He looks through all of your, he looks through each party member and says, state your business in the port.
What is our business in the port? Trade? Are we trading? Death
Your
curse?
party's business. The reason you came to Chult.
The Harpers didn't make a cover story for any reason, did they?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, we're adventurers looking for death curse.
He nods and
Or say we're
says,
investing.
I'm gonna mumble. Just like that, too.
They're just like we're adventurers from the Sword Coast come to investigate the death curse.
I was told that one of you would be arriving. One ship, that is to say. Seems to check out. Since you're here, I'm going to provide you with a letter of introduction so that you can go meet with Jessamine. If you're going to investigate this curse, you're going to need funding.
Okay.
She'll know how you can get it easily within the port.
Okay. Oh,
Thank you.
guys, maybe this will be my gateway into getting funding for my father's expedition after the death curse.
Bye bye.
If you end the death curse, you can fund 5 expeditions. Honestly,
What?
I think if you end the death curse, you could probably fund 5 expeditions.
Ooh, hopefully.
Zendar points you in the direction of Jessamine's home and says, I would head there when you're ready to make some money. Then he heads off. And now, standing on the docks of Port Nanzaru, you find yourself in a bustling tropical city under the blazing sun. The familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling across cobblestones, mingling with voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, and a sing-songy words that make it sound almost musical. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit mixes with the wharfside smells of fish, tar, and canvas. Beyond all that, Port Nyanzaru is an explosion of color. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange, and salmon pink, or their walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes. Every building sports baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers or is draped in leafy, flowering vines. Minstrels in bright clothing with feathers and shells perform on street corners. Multicolored pennants and sun awnings flutter atop city walls. A crowd of children dressed in feathered hats and capes race past you, squealing in delighted terror, as a street performer dressed as a big-toothed lizard stomps and roars behind them.
I feel offended.
The whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and singing. As your feet leave the wood docks and touch the hot stones of the street, a boy no older than 12 with dark skin and bright brown eyes approaches you and speaks in common with a thick Chultan accent. Are you the heroes from Baldur's Gate?
I'm going to look down and say, yes, we are.
Prince Otamu pays me to find you. Mistress Sylvain begs that you come visit her when you have the time. She stays with Prince Otamu. He then hands you an envelope. Inside is a letter written in a strong and confident hand. It states, Travelers from Baldur's Gate, I beg thee, please. Come visit me at the Otamu estate when time permits. My friend Wakanga Otamu is close friends with the Harpers, and he has allowed me to stay in his villa as his guest. As I'm sure you have been informed, I have an interest in your mission to find the source of the death curse. Your patron, the High Priest of Lathander and Baldur's Gate, informed me of your mission, and I believe that we can assist each other. Either follow the bearer of this message to the villa, or ask the locals when you're ready to meet with me. The dark-skinned boy waits patiently while you read the letter, then asks, "You follow now?"
I'm going to ask if we have anything else to do immediately.
Moment, I believe. Let's go!
Yeah.
Alright. When you agree to follow the boy who gave you the letter, he takes off at a quick walking pace, faster than you'd like, considering the oppressive heat. But you manage to keep up with him through the mostly wide avenues. He first leads you west, across several small bridges that cross narrow canals, the buildings all around appearing to be warehouses. Then after leading you through a guarded gate, you can see several inns and taverns ahead of you, and behind them, a much larger structure, some sort of stadium or temple perhaps, behind them. The boy turns south and begins following the outer wall of the warehouse district as it curves around the east. When you come to a huge covered marketplace, the boy stops and watches as a large reptile pulls a massive cart past you. The boy grins and says a word some of you have never heard before. Dinosaur. Then, when it has passed, he crosses the street again and heads south. This time, you skirt the large marketplace. Finally, the boy leads you through a gate in a stone wall, and you are in a plaza with a large fountain. The statues in the fountain appear to be two bare-chested Cholton women in a lustful embrace, water cascading artfully from the tops of their heads in frothy streams that give the illusion of hair. It's a truly magical and beautiful-looking fountain.
Ooh.
The boy opens one of the many gates of the outer edge of the plaza and says, "Otamu Villa." After you've entered, he runs through the open doorway into the entryway with an open water catch basin, that probably leads to a cistern. The boy runs up to one of the uniformed guards sitting in one of the shady areas of the atrium and speaks in the fast, clicky, sing-song tongue of Cholt. The guard pays the boy a few coins and then, in an accented common, says, "The Lady Sylvain is expecting you. Follow me." The guard, armed with a strange weapon consisting of a 3-foot wooden staff and a 1.5-foot metal blade at one end, leads you through the grand hall with a double staircase that is noticeably cooler than the heat outside, and then he leads you down a hall. At the end of the hall, he leads you to a small sitting room and then back outside into a lush and well-cared-for garden with a small fountain in the center. Sitting under the shade of the tree is a person wrapped up in a blanket despite the heat. The woman in the blanket speaks to you in the well-educated tongue of an experienced noble or adventurer of the Sword Coast. "Greetings. My name is Sindra Sylvain. This is the first time we've met in person." She first gestures to a small table where a bottle of wine and several cups sit. "Please help yourself to the wine and have a seat." Friends.
Definitely gonna pour myself a slightly too full glass.
As you pour
I'm gonna
yourselves...
perk up and walk over there and take a glass.
As you pour yourselves some wine, she states, "I was an adventurer years ago. I died once and was raised from the dead. I have since closed the door on that stage of my life, and the death curse you've heard of, a curse that may even afflict those of you yourselves know, has struck me as well. I don't know how much longer I'll last before I perish. Clerics have no help to offer. They're very confused as to what is happening. So, now that I've got you here, tell me a bit about yourselves."
Well, we all just had a dear friend succumb to the curse. And now we are bound to determine to get rid of it.
She looks grimly at you and says, "I'm certainly sorry to hear about that. When this curse is lifted, hopefully you can revive your friend."
Hopefully.
That's the goal.
Well, I'm Qualu. I am a Cholton native. and I'm excited to be back home.
She nods and says, I suspected as much, based on the accent.
Thanks for pretending that it's there. Not good at accents.
Then she looks to the rest of your party for introductions.
I am Yoltru.
I'm way on the shore. I was born on the Solar Coast. My parents don't want me to be here, and I'm totally old enough to drink this.
Sandra looks off to the side at the tabaxi, and then slides her eyes slowly over to the lizard folk Yotru.
That's Wave. I'm Yoltru. It's nice to meet you.
My name is my name is Meth. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
She nods.
Hello, I am Opa.
She leans forward a bit and says, do you hail from the Snat of Ogmar?
Widen my eyes a little bit and nod my head. Yes.
I've always wanted to visit. I hear Tortle hospitality is second to none.
I'm gonna preen a little bit, like, you have heard correctly.
It might even be a good place to search for a guide if you're looking to make an expedition soon.
I know of a wonderful, wonderful guide.
And lastly, she looks to the Saurian.
And I'll say, I am Malakara. I actually am not too excited to be back in Chult, as I did run to escape the tyranny of the city-state I once belonged long ago. But I do know that there's more purpose in life than my personal well-being, so I'm hoping that we can lift this curse.
Rub your back.
Sindra nods and says, understandable. Chult is a vibrant place, full of rich culture, but the heat is unbearable. Of course, I don't mind it at the present, since I am consistently cold with this curse. But I'm sure that the others don't particularly like the heat here.
I actually was always so cold on the Sword Coast. You should be glad to be in Chult, because the Sword Coast, so cold. Even this time of year, it's summer. It's summer over there. So cold.
Compared to the Underdark, even the Sword Coast is a mite warm for my taste.
I am sorry. No wonder you don't like Chult.
Alright.
That's why we don't like Chult.
Now, I would like to begin with a couple of things. First, working from dozens of sea charts, logbooks, and explorers' journals, I've assembled everything known about the current state of Chult into one map, from what we could find. You must be very careful with this map.
I will treat this map like it is my firstborn son.
As you explore and expand your knowledge of the jungle, this map becomes more and more valuable. There are many who would pay good money for a comprehensive map of Chult, and even more that would kill for one. Even having this map makes you a target.
I'm going to ask to look at it real quick, just for a moment.
Well, fortunately, being a target isn't exactly new to me. I mean, I don't know exactly look like I'm from around town.
You might be careful, lest the lizard folk try and play ball with you.
Alright. So Yotru
Would be the first one.
is going to take a look at the map and memorize what he can about it.
Tomb of Annihilation.